Hi, everybody. We're here with Nicole Gray, and I'm very excited to talk to her about photography and traveling. But first, here's Nicole, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm Nicole. I'm 25 years old. I started getting into photography probably a few years ago, and it quickly spiraled into like an obsession and like a major hobby of mine. But everything I ever read about, like, if you actually really want to get into photography, was you have to choose niche. And I love to travel. I grew up traveling with my family. We went to all these different places. So I always knew if I did photography, it was going to be travel photography. And it just makes it so much more fun and so adventurous and all of that kind of stuff. And that's why I love photography in the first place, anyways. So, yeah.
Well, I love
That's
it. I honestly, like, I'm not a photographer by any means, but I will say that after starting the company, I started taking lots and lots, I mean, thousands of photos for each shoot
Yeah.
because I give everybody the photos after we return.
That's
So I feel like I've become more skilled. That said, I'm certainly not a photographer.
yeah.
So do you have any tips for people, even the amateur person like myself, or also for people that really do want to get started in having a serious,
Mm.
whether it's a hobby or a career, but something in photography?
Yeah. I'm still a beginner myself, but if you really just want to get into photography in any way, just start practicing. Use your iPhone, buy a camera, whatever works for you, and just start practicing. And you'll learn your camera, your settings, what looks good, how to like edit your photos, and all of that kind of stuff over time. There's so much stuff out there nowadays that does a lot of it for you, whether it's editing or using like the auto filter on your camera or anything like that, that you can take gorgeous pictures like from your iPhone, and they look so great that you don't have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars on professional photos if it's not something that you can do at that time too. So,
So
and
do
I
you
really like that.
mostly use your iPhone or do you have a camera?
I do both. It depends on like what I'm doing. If I didn't come prepared and I'm like out with my friends or something like that, I'll take out my iPhone and use that. And I have like a few settings that I love on the iPhone. And then but 90% of the time I like bring my camera with me just because I love it. So I have a few different lenses that I like to play with, but I usually just stick with the same old. And I like to take photos of landscape mostly. And then my friends will be like, take a few of me so I can post them on my Instagram. I'm like, okay. So I do that too. So it like kind of melts into that. Like my friends are always like, I want like photos for my Instagram page or Facebook, or like I want these pictures of my kids. And like that's kind of how it started. Like everyone knew I loved photography. And then they were like, oh, will you take these? Will you do this? Will you do that? And like it grew from there of being like, okay, I need a camera. I need different lens options. I need to like learn how to shoot in manual and all of that kind of stuff.
So now when you're traveling and you have your
Mhm.
camera, I mean, like
Yes.
a camera is a target, right? Like
Yeah.
for if you're in a place where people like to steal things.
Yeah.
So how do you go about taking it with you and saying like staying safe and not getting it stolen?
Um, I haven't had any kind of scare or anything like that, which I think is really great.
Yes.
I have a backpack that's like doubles as my camera bag. I just leave my camera in that. And the side pocket is like really accessible if you're wearing it on your back. And I can put my camera in and out of that on my own without any help. I don't usually travel completely by myself, so I'm with like a friend or two, and they like watch and stuff like that. But I don't know. I wear my camera around my neck and then my backpack around my back and keep everything zipped and like don't leave anything out. And I haven't had any kind of scares. I'm sure I will have an experience at some point just because
Hopefully not.
I know, but like it's a reality. So, but yeah, I just try to be careful. Like if I take my backpack off, like I'm aware of my surroundings, like that kind of stuff. I think it's also like being a girl in this world, you're just always aware of your surroundings and that kind of stuff. So it's just second nature to like be careful of my camera as well too. So
Right.
yeah.
So now you had discussed with me that you travel often, which is great.
Yeah.
Um, so what do you do as far as like planning your trip and researching it and keeping costs down, especially for those that are, young 20 something year olds. I mean, when I was in my 20s, I could not afford to travel.
Yeah.
So what are some things that you do that could help people figure it out?
Yeah. Um, Honestly, it depends on how you're traveling. If you're going by yourself and you don't really care where you're going, I love the Google Travel feature. And you put in like your home destination and it'll show you the cheapest flights like during specific dates to whatever cities, like or countries like Mexico and Canada it includes as well. So I think that's really cool. I was looking at it today and there's like a flight from Boston to Miami for like $35. So like it you can find really inexpensive flights if you're open to dates and locations. Other things I do is like if I know I want to go to a specific city, like I'll research well in advance, like know when the best day to buy is, what the best dates are, like the hot season or popular season to be there. I try to go a little bit before it or a little bit after it, not because I want to enjoy the weather still too, but I also like you want to miss like the rush of tourism a little bit too to so you can take nice photos or whatever. And then depends on if I'm traveling with people or by myself. If I'm by myself, I'll stay in a hotel just to keep myself safe and like that kind of a thing. But if I'm with friends or family or whatever, I'll be a little adventurous and like look on Airbnb or a couple different like shared sites to see if we can lower the price of where we're staying, or even like looking at campgrounds or cabins in the area or stuff like that. Those are like great options to lower your cost as well. But
Yes.
I find myself if I have a kitchen, I cook, which means I save money from going out to dinner every night or whatever. So that's my other trick.
Right, right. I actually once stayed in an Airbnb in Barcelona, and we saved so much money just by cooking alone, which was amazing.
Yeah,
But I personally, I love hotels. Like,
yeah, me too.
I just, I don't know what it is about them. I just love being in them. So also one question,
Yeah.
what is your favorite filter?
Ooh, I like something subtle. I don't like to over edit my photos. So I like something that will like give me even skin tone or something like that. And then like just accentuate my background. So a little bit of like a lighter filter. But yeah, I like to edit my photos so that they look really nice, but I don't like to make them look like they're completely different pictures. Like I like to make what I took the picture of just stand out a little bit. So like
Right.
darken some of the shadows and lighten some of the other areas. And I kind of call it a good time after that.
That's awesome. I
Yeah.
tend to use just the auto filter that
Yeah.
like on the iPhone. And
Yeah. I love
sometimes
that.
it
That's a
looks better,
great
like
tool.
right, most of the time it looks better, but like
Yeah.
sometimes it makes the photo look a little bit like you were saying, like a little bit too filtered.
Yeah.
Right. But I guess it just depends on all the lighting and everything that
Exactly.
was naturally there. I mean, I used it once on a photo that I took in Ireland. And it was just such a beautiful photo to begin with.
Mm.
But I was like, oh, let me, see what this does. And it made it look fake almost,
Yeah.
because like the colors of the flowers and the grass and everything were just so bright
Yeah.
that I was like, that's not real. I gotta take that filter off.
Yeah. Sometimes you don't even need one. Everyone like first instinct is to go to like edit the photo or filter it or whatever. And sometimes you just don't need it and it looks great without it instead.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
and I noticed like what a lot of people do with photos of people, they filter it so much to the point where the person doesn't have like a nose anymore.
Yes.
Like, where'd their nose go? Like, it doesn't look good.
Yeah, like I like to give myself even skin tone because like who doesn't want to like look a little nice in a photo? But like
Right.
if I look like I have like different eyes or a different nose or a different mouth, like it's gone too far. That's how
Right.
I feel like that's how you know.
Exactly. So now you said it's a hobby, but now is this something that you want to turn into a career or
Maybe eventually. I do a few like paid photo shoots every year. I did well, COVID kind of struck down a lot of things last
right?
year for me and a little bit of this year. But I do a few. I like to be outside, so I'll do like family photos, maternity photos, newborn photos, but like outside of them. I don't love using a studio, and honestly, I probably wouldn't ever use a studio.
Right.
So a lot of the times I'll like find a cool state park, or I've done a like Christmas tree farm or a beach or any of that kind of stuff, and I'll take whatever family life event you want of you, but like it's got to be outside. Those are my
Right.
rules.
Right. Well, I don't blame you. Plus, it's
Yeah.
nicer. I feel like,
And
having
they look
the
organic and real. And again, you don't have to overly edit them because they're just like real. Like you
right,
don't, yeah.
right. Well, Nicole, this has been awesome, and
Awesome.
thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you
Um,
for having me.
and I hope that we get to meet each other on a trip, or
Yeah. We're going to have to do a trip sometime.
yes, absolutely. But thank you so much, and I will talk to you soon.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.